Greetings and salutations. This is the Adjutant. The average military member has access to enough benefits to become a millionaire. The problem is that nobody ever shows them the blueprint. Nobody sits them down and explains how military pay, military retirement, the TSP, VA benefits, home ownership, and time can work together to create extraordinary financial outcomes. Instead, most military members spend their careers focusing on the next duty station, the next deployment, the next promotion, the next PCS move, and the next set of orders. And before they know it, 20 years have passed. Some retire financially secure, others retire wondering where all the money went. The difference is rarely intelligence. The difference is usually a blueprint. Today, I want to walk you through what I call the Military Millionaire Blueprint. Not a get-rich-quick scheme, not crypto, not day trading, not some social media fantasy, a particular system that ordinary military members can use to build extraordinary wealth over time. Now, before we go any further, let me say something that may surprise some people. Military wealth is different than civilian wealth. Very different. Most civilians build wealth almost entirely through income and investing. Military members have something additional: benefits. And when benefits are properly leveraged, they become wealth-building accelerators. The problem is that many people never learn how to leverage them. Now, let me show you what I mean. Imagine you have two 22-year-old soldiers. Both earn roughly the same income, both start their careers at the same time, both have access to the same military benefits. One follows a blueprint, the other simply just kind of goes with the flow. Now, you want to fast forward 20 years? One retires with a pension, substantial TSP balance, home equity, multiple income streams, and financial freedom. The other retires with consumer debt, limited savings, and financial anxiety. Now, what happened? Well, the answer is not luck. The answer is decisions. Small decisions repeated over decades. That's what wealth actually is. Wealth is not one giant decision. It is thousands of small decisions compounded over time. The first thing we need to discuss is compensation. One of the biggest mistakes military members make is focusing only on base pay. And I understand why. Base pay is easy to see. Base pay is only one piece of the puzzle, and you need to understand that. You have housing allowance, you have food allowance, you have healthcare benefits, you have education benefits, you have tax advantages, you have retirement benefits, you have access to the Thrift Savings Plan, you have VA loan eligibility. You have survivor benefits and potentially, depending on your circumstances, future disability compensation. Now, when you begin adding all those benefits together, the financial value becomes much larger than many people realize. The military may not hand you all this wealth, but it absolutely provides tools that can help you build wealth. And tools matter. A hammer doesn't just build a house. A blueprint just doesn't build a house. The carpenter builds the house. Military benefits work the same way. The benefits exist. The question is whether you'll use them. Now, let's talk about the first engine of military wealth. That's the TSP. The Thrift Savings Plan may be the most underrated wealth building tool in the military. Why? Because it allows ordinary people to harness the extraordinary power of compound growth. Most people underestimate how powerful time can be. They think wealth comes from finding the perfect investment. Well, it doesn't. Most wealth is built through consistency. Now, let me give you an example. Imagine again you have a 22-year-old E3 who contributes $500 per month into the TSP. It's not dramatic, it's nothing heroic, it's just consistency. Now imagine that soldier increases contributions slightly every time they receive a promotion. Not a massive increase, just a little more each time income rises. So, what do you think happens? Over 20 years, that money compounds. It grows. It begins generating earnings on top of earnings. Then earnings on top of those earnings. And eventually something remarkable happens. The growth begins to accelerate. Not because the soldier suddenly became smarter, but because time finally began doing the heavy lifting. One of the greatest mistakes people make is waiting. They tell themselves they'll start investing next year. Then next year becomes another year, then another year, then another. Meanwhile, the clock just keeps on moving. Time is the most valuable asset a young military member possesses. It's not your rank, it's not your income, it's your time. Now, the earlier you begin the process, the more you will actually benefit from it. The earlier you begin, the more powerful compound growth becomes. The second engine of military wealth is military retirement. Now, I honestly believe military retirement is one of the most misunderstood financial assets in America. Many people look at their future pension and think of it only as a monthly payment. Nope, don't do that, folks. But let me tell you what it really is. A military pension represents a lifetime income stream. Think about it for a moment. Every month for life, many civilians spend decades trying to create that kind of financial security. Let's say someone retires and receives $30,000 annually from military retirement. What would it cost to create that same income stream using investment alone? Hundreds of thousands of dollars and possibly more. Suddenly, that pension begins looking very different. The pension creates stability. It creates predictability. It creates flexibility, and flexibility is one of the greatest forms of financial freedom. The third engine of military wealth is VA disability compensation. Now, let me be clear. VA disability compensation is not charity. It is not a reward. It is compensation for service-connected conditions. If a military service caused or aggravated a condition, Congress created a system designed to compensate veterans for those impacts. Financially speaking, VA compensation can become an important component of a retirement strategy. Not because it makes someone wealthy by itself, but because it strengthens their cash flow. It reduces the financial pressure. It creates flexibility. And when combined with military retirement, it creates something incredibly powerful. Multiple streams of income. One of the reasons financial secure retirees sleep better is because they are not relying on a single source of income. They have military retirement. They have VA compensation, TSP investments, Social Security, home equity. Together, these pieces create resilience. Okay? Now let's talk about what I consider the hidden multiplier. That's home ownership. Specifically, strategic home ownership. The VA loan is one of the most powerful benefits available to military members, yet many people underestimate its long-term values. A home should provide first shelter, but over time, it can also become an asset. Equity grows, loan balances decline, property values may appreciate, and over decades, the process contributes significantly to net worth. Now, millionaires tend to acquire assets. Many people spend their lives acquiring payments. There's a difference. One builds wealth, the other consumes it. Now, let's discuss the 4 biggest wealth killers I see repeatedly over and over and over again. The first is vehicle addiction. I know this one makes people uncomfortable, particularly the young private, the young lieutenant, but it's true. Too many military members spend decades financing vehicles. Every promotion becomes a reason to upgrade. Every re-enlistment bonus becomes an excuse to buy something newer. And before long, thousands of dollars that could have been invested are disappearing into depreciating assets. I'm not saying don't own a nice vehicle. I'm saying understand the difference between transportation and financial self-sabotage. Now, the second wealth killer is consumer debt. Consumer debt quietly steals the future of wealth. Every dollar spent on interest is a dollar that cannot compound. Debt delays freedom. Debt delays options. Debt delays flexibility. Now, the third wealth killer is trying to look wealthy, trying to look wealthy. Everybody want to look wealthy. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, the late, great Kevin Samuels. Now, one of the greatest lessons I learned is that wealth and the appearance of wealth are very different things. Many people who look wealthy are drowning in debt. Never confuse appearance with reality. Now, the fourth wealth killer is waiting. Waiting to invest, waiting to save, waiting to learn, waiting to start. Now, one of the most expensive mistakes in personal finance is believing you have more time than you actually do. Now, let me tell you something personal, folks. When I was a young soldier, nobody set me down and explained military wealth. People taught me how to survive. People taught me how to lead. People taught me how to deploy. People taught me how to perform under pressure, but very few people taught me how to build wealth. And that's one reason I make videos like this today, because I know there are young service members watching who may never hear this information elsewhere. I know there are veterans watching who wish someone had explained these concepts 20 years ago. And I know there are people approaching retirement who still have time to improve their financial future. The good news is that wealth building is not complicated. It does require discipline. It requires consistency. It requires patience. So let me give you the blueprint. Contribute to the TSP. Get every available match. Increase contributions as your income increases. Avoid unnecessary consumer debt. Use military benefits strategically. Live below your means. Protect your future self from today's impulses. Stay consistent and give compound growth time to work. That's the blueprint. No secret formula, no magic stock, no financial wizardry, just discipline, execution over a long period of time. Now, after decades in the Army, years as an attorney, years as a professor, and more than 2 decades working in the VA system, I've come to believe something very simple. Most people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, and they dramatically underestimate what they can accomplish in 20 years. Financial freedom is not built overnight, but it is built. The military gives you tools. The blueprint shows you how to use them. The question is whether you'll start today. And so there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. I'll see you in the next one. I wish you all blessings and blessings. Shalom.